Fiber to fabric. Lesson preview. Origin of clothing. Variety in fabrics. Different types of fibers. Plant fibers. Animal fibers. Synthetic fibers. The process of making a fabric. We need to wear clothes mainly to protect our body from elements of weather, strong sunlight in hot weather, extreme cold condition, and rain. Clothes also protect us from insects like mosquitoes and flies. They also make us look smart and presentable. We like to wear clothes that are in fashion. Clothes that people wear differ from region to region. Choice of clothes depends mainly on the climate of a place. In our country, traditional clothes worn by people vary from place to place. Origin of clothing. The origin of clothing is thought to be dated between 50,000 to 100,000 years ago. Earlier people would wear skin or fur of animals in cold regions, and bark, grass or leaves of trees in warm regions. Sewing needle made of bone or ivory was invented about 30,000 years ago, after which people started wearing stitched clothes made out of animal skins. After the advent of agriculture, people began weaving plant material by hand to make cloth. In many regions, people used to wrap the cloth around themselves till the use of sewing needles became popular. Sari, lungi, sarong and turban are examples of wrapped clothing which are still in use. The early Indians would wear clothes made out of cotton. Egyptians cultivated both flax and cotton near the river Nile, and used them in making fabrics. Variety in fabrics. The material used to make clothing or other articles like school bags, ropes, carpets, etc., is called a fabric. There is a lot of variety in fabrics available nowadays. Different items like bed sheets, blankets, curtains, towels, dusters, and school bags are made from different kinds of fabrics. The clothes we wear in winter, summer, and rainy seasons are also made of different fabrics like cotton, wool, silk, nylon, polyester, etc. Activity. Take a piece of cotton cloth. Pull out a loose thread or yarn from the edge of the piece. You can pull one by using a needle in case no loose thread is seen. You will see that cloth is made up of a number of threads or yarns. Activity. Take a piece of yarn of the cotton cloth used above. Press the same with your thumb at one end. Scratch the other end with your nails. You will notice that the yarn will split into smaller thin strands. These thin strands are made of more thinner strands called fibers. Different types of fibers. Fabrics are made up of yarns, and yarns are made up of fibers. Fiber is a single hair-like structure which can be called the unit of fabric. Fibers are of two kinds, natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers. Natural fibers are obtained from plants or animals. Cotton and jute are obtained from plants, whereas silk and wool are obtained from animals. Wool is obtained from the fleece of goat or sheep. It is also obtained from the hair of rabbits, yaks, and camels. Silk is obtained from the cocoon of the silkworm. Synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers are man-made fibers like nylon, rayon, polyester, etc., which are not obtained from plants or animals. They are mainly made from petroleum byproducts by complex chemical processes. Other clothing materials like leather and fur are not made of fibers. They are obtained from animals. They are now becoming less and less popular due to concern for animals. Plant fibers. Cotton. Cotton is a soft, lightweight fiber obtained from the seeds of the cotton plant. Cotton plants are usually grown at places having black soil and warm climate. In India, cotton is mainly grown in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, and Haryana. Between May and September, its harvesting begins from October. The fruit of the cotton plant is walnut-sized. It is called cotton boll. On maturing, the bolls burst open, exposing the seeds covered with cotton fibers. Fibers are then separated from the seeds by combing. This process is called ginning. Earlier, ginning was done by hand. Nowadays, machines are used for this process. Spinning of cotton yarn. The process of making yarn from fibers is called spinning. Fibers from the bundle of cotton are drawn out and then twisted to make a yarn. This process holds the fibers together. Traditionally, spinning was done in India on a hand spindle, takli, or on a spinning wheel called charkha. Mahatma Gandhi used to spin cloth on a charkha to popularize it. These days spinning machines are used. Activity. Hold some cotton wool in one hand. Pinch a little cotton with the other hand. Gently pull it and at the same time keep twisting it continuously. You will be able to make a yarn in this way. See how long a yarn you can make. Cotton clothes are preferred in hot season as cotton is soft and lets air in. A fabric that lets air to pass through is said to be breathable. Cotton fabric absorbs sweat which is evaporated by the air it breathes. This helps the body to cool down. Cotton clothes are thus best to be worn in hot, humid weather. Denim is a tough, durable cloth made from cotton. Jeans are made of denim. Cotton has been used for making clothes for thousands of years, especially in warm and humid regions of the world. The earliest documented reference to cotton is from India. Cotton has been grown in India for more than 3,000 years. Jute. Jute is obtained from the stem of the jute plant. It is one of the cheapest natural fibers. It is mainly grown in the states of West Bengal, Bihar, and Assam in India during the rainy season. Jute grows best in warm, humid climates with plenty of rainfall. Alluvial soil receiving silt from annual floods is suitable for its cultivation. As in the Sundarbans Delta in India and Bangladesh, its sowing is done from February to May, depending on the variety. About 85% of the world's jute cultivation is done in Sundarbans Delta, Ganges Delta, in India, West Bengal, and Bangladesh. India is the largest producer of jute products in the world. Jute is harvested after 4-5 months when it is in the flowering stage. The stalks of the harvested plant are tied in bundles and immersed in water for about 20 days. This is called retting. This process softens the tissues and allows easy separation of the fibers. The fibers are then separated by hand from the stalks in long strands and washed in clear running water. They are then hung up or spread out on the ground to dry for 2-3 days. Later the fiber is tied into bundles and sent to the mills where they are converted into yarns in the same manner as cotton. Jute is a long, soft, shiny fiber that can be spun into coarse, strong threads. It is biodegradable, durable and strong. It is especially useful in making strong packing material. Jute is the second most important fiber after cotton. Jute is mainly used to make cloth for wrapping bales of raw cotton. To make sacks and coarse cloth, jute fibers can also be woven into curtains, carpets, chair coverings, Hessian cloth and backing for linoleum. Animal fibers. Wool. Wool is the fiber derived from the hair of sheep, goat, rabbit, etc. Special clippers are used to remove the wool from the animals. This process of removing hair is called shearing. This raw wool is packed into bales and sent to mills. With the help of machines, wool is cleaned and combed, then separated and spun into fibers. These fibers are then woven or knitted to make woolen clothes. Wool is fluffy and hence retains air. Since air does not allow passage of heat, wool has the property of retaining heat. This is why woolen clothes are worn in cold weather to retain body heat. Silk. Silk is obtained from the cocoons of silkworms. These silkworms are fed on mulberry leaves. Each worm spins a continuous thread up to 800 meters long to make a cocoon. The cocoon is boiled in water to kill the silkworm and then unwound to obtain silk fiber. Rearing of silkworms to produce silk on a commercial basis is termed as sericulture. Silk is much sought after and greatly prized because of its shimmering appearance and shiny luster. Synthetic fibers. Nylon and polyester are some of the important synthetic fibers that are used to make clothing items. In fact, they are plastics made from chemicals obtained mostly from petroleum. The plastic is first melted by heating, and then the molten material is forced through a device called a spinneret that has fine holes in it. The long threads that emerge from the holes are allowed to cool and solidify. Several of those threads are twisted together to make the yarn which is used to make synthetic cloth. Clothes made from synthetic fibers are stronger and do not wrinkle easily. They also dry quickly. However, as they have less air spaces in them than natural fibers, they do not breathe so well and they also cannot absorb sweat. Therefore, they do not cool the body and are unsuitable for hot and humid weather. For this reason, they are often mixed with natural fibers, cotton, wool, to make cloth that is both strong and breathable and absorbs sweat. The process of making a fabric, weaving and knitting are the two popular processes by which a yarn is made into a fabric. Weaving, the process of arranging two sets of yarn to make a fabric, is called weaving. Activity: take two sheets of different colors, say red and green, cut squares from both sheets, having length and breadth equal to 30 cm. Take the two square pieces and fold them into half. Draw lines on the green sheet as shown. Cut the paper along the lines, and then unfold. Cut 1-inch wide strips of the red paper. Weave the strips one by one through the cuts in the sheet of green color as shown. The exact pattern of the weaved paper is seen. Weaving of fabrics is similar to weaving the two sets of strips of paper, the only difference being that the yarn is much thinner than the strips. Weaving of fabric is done by weavers on machines called looms. Looms are either hand-operated or power-operated. Knitting. In knitting, a single yarn is used to make a piece of fabric. You might have seen your mother or grandmother knitting a sweater. It can be done by hand or on machines. What happens if you pull a yarn from a knitted sweater? It can be pulled continuously and the whole sweater can be unraveled. Knitted fabrics stretch more than woven fabrics. They are used to make socks, t-shirts, etc. Thus, we have seen that fabrics are made by knitting or weaving. The fabrics obtained are used to make a variety of clothing items.